Today I'm going to show you a way that you can get that old acoustic guitar you got in the back room under the bed or in the closet that needs a neck reset. Get it out, and I'm going to show you a way to make that guitar playable without resetting the neck. Welcome back, folks, and thanks for tuning in. If I can talk, I've been having trouble talking lately. It's happened to all of us. If you have an acoustic guitar or acoustic guitars long enough, you're going to eventually run onto one that's going to need a neck reset on it. And I just finished one here a couple weeks ago. I think it was a HD28, I think it was. Just like this one, a whole lot like it. Over time, you know, as the guitar changes and stuff, and the neck just gets completely out of angle, and you can't play it. The action is so high that you can't play it anymore. You've probably got one in your back bedroom, in the closet, or under the bed that needs a neck reset on it. In some cases, it can be a very expensive guitar, but you can't play it. You can't stand to play it with the action that high. You can't get it down low. What happens is people will shave their saddles down till they just barely stick up out of the slot, and you really don't want to do that because you lose sound, you lose string stress that comes across the saddle. When you lower the saddle, you're lowering that stress, okay? And we all know about shaving the bridge. You can do that and get by if it's got a big thick bridge on it. You've seen me do it probably 100 times now. I don't know how many videos I got doing it, but I got videos of it. And resetting necks. But you can only go so low with that saddle. I mean, the saddle's got to stick out of the slot, you know, be it a big high saddle or a little low one. It's got to stick up out of the slot so the strings can come over it and, you know, carry the sound through to the top. And in a lot of cases, whenever you do what I'm going to show you here, you don't have to, but you can put a big high saddle in it, and it's not going to make any difference with what I'm going to show you. Now, let me say up front, I don't endorse doing it this way. If your guitar needs a neck reset and you can't afford to pay that, it costs big money, man. I charge $400 to $600. I'll just tell you up front, that's what I'll charge to do a neck reset. And the reason it varies that much is because a lot of things can happen. You run into things you didn't think about or whatever. So generally it runs, if I do a neck reset, it runs around $400 to $600. Like I say, depending on how it goes or what problems I run into and all that kind of crap. Sometimes a little bit over $600, you know. If I run into a whole bunch of crap like the tenon being broken or cracked or, you know, crazy stuff like that. The heel falls off or whatever. So, you know, everybody don't have that much money to put into a guitar. They've already paid maybe $2,000 or $1,000 for it, you know. That busted them right there. Now, like I say, what I'm going to show you here is not, I don't recommend it, you know. But if you have a guitar and you can't afford to buy a neck reset, pay for a neck reset, I'm going to show you a way that you can at least get the guitar, the action down to where you can play it a little bit. And it's a simple, man, it's a simple thing. I hate to admit I have did it before in a pinch. Not to really leave it that way very long, but I have did it before. Alright, here's the thing I've created for you. I think you can see the string in there. Ideally, look at that saddle, man. Ideally, you want a little bit of back butt or relief in the neck, okay? But when the action gets so high, I should have. Let me see if I can get under that a little bit. Yeah, there. That's better. That's a little bit of an overkill. Maybe you can see it better if I hold it against my shirt. Normally, this is what you want. You want neck relief, your truss rod bent that way, not that way. You want it to bend this way, okay? That's normally what you want. Now, look at the nut action up here. The nut action's not too bad. The saddle height is really high, so you can see the action would be very high on that, okay? Sometimes you can put a higher saddle in if you have to, or lower, whatever you need to get it right. All you got to do is start tightening your truss rod, and you can see what this is doing here. See, the nut action up here, you can file your nut down and make it as low as you want, as low as you can get it without it buzzing. That's a whole nother story though. I have to hold it with my fingers and I can't adjust it really because I'm as close to it as I can get. But you get the idea, okay? Watch. Hold it where you can see it. Start tightening up your truss rod. Your action gets very low in the middle. And like I say, you can adjust the nut down or up or whatever you need. Now, when you do that, your rod's going to go that way. Remember, relief is this way. Back bow, I call it, is that way. When you do that, it's going to make your strings closer to the fretboard. And you can adjust the nut if whatever you want. But remember, down here, it's still going to be super high, man. You're not going to be able to play past the probably 6th or 7th fret. Maybe not even down that far on the neck. But if you do this, just tighten the rod up, get your saddle, or whatever saddle height you can get by with, and set your nut action, whatever you want it at, and then tighten your rod up. The strings will get closer. I keep forgetting to hold it down where you guys can see it. Strings will get closer to the fretboard. See what I mean? You tighten up your truss rod, the strings get closer to the fretboard, and the action comes down in the center of the neck. But you're not going to be able to play it, like I say, down probably past the, I don't know, the 7th, maybe the 8th fret. You might be able to play it down that far, but you're not going to be able to go past that. Now, if worst case scenario, you can also shave the bridge, like we was talking a little bit ago. You know, a lot of people, I got a lot of shit for shaving bridges on this channel before. But the bridge, if you ever do have the neck reset, you can always pop that bridge off and put another one back on that's the right full height, you know what I mean? So you're really not hurting the value of an instrument just by shaving the bridge off like some people seem to think. Because like, you can always set it right back up to the way it was from the factory. I could order, shave this bridge, and then years down the road, order a new bridge for Martin for this guitar, or make one. I've made them before, and put it back on there, do the neck reset, and you're right back to the way it was new again. Same with doing this thing. The very same with doing this right here. All you're doing really is tightening your truss rod down till the strings get closer in the middle of the neck, about the center of it. They'll come closer up at the nut than they will down the saddle. You're still going to have very high action down here on this end, okay? It's still going to be very high. You're not going to be able to play it down there. But you can get the guitar out and play it. At least play cowboy chords and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I would recommend you be very cautious and very careful if you do this. If your truss rod is really tight, don't attempt it. Don't do it, man. If you hear your neck wood popping and cracking and making funky noises, stop. Don't do it. Because, you got to know the condition of the wood and how flexible or not flexible it is. And you should know if it's humidified up to par or not. And, just keep those things in mind if you try this. It'll save you from taking that guitar to a luthier, though, and paying, $500 or $600 for doing a neck reset. You won't be able to play the high notes unless you're a great big strong got hands like Godzilla. Maybe you could then, but that's going to throw your intonation off too. The action being that high down up the neck, rather, it's going to throw your intonation out. When you shove that string all the way down to the fret, what's happening? Well, that string's it's getting tighter. It's like stretching it out, at that fret, and that note is going to go sharp a little bit. So, doing what I'm telling you, it's useless if you're planning on playing a lot down the neck or up the neck. Which is it? I call it up the neck. I try to, because as you move up the neck, the notes go up. Does that make sense? Anyways, be very careful. I want to stress this point. Like I say, I don't necessarily recommend doing this to your guitar, especially if it's a Martin or a Gibson or a Taylor or something with a good name brand on it, unless you just want to do it at your own risk, I guess, Really, if you're careful, though, like I say, I've done it before in a pinch whenever I just did not want to do a neck reset, was just sick of doing them. I'm getting now, I can't see, man, and I shake too bad. I don't know if I could do one again or not. I had some trouble with that last one. I couldn't see. and shaking. You all know about that. But I got it. It come out successfully and was perfect. The guy loved it. It was perfect, man. But I don't do them unless I'm backed into a corner and have to, especially now with my old eyes and my hands screwed up the way they are. Anyways, I wanted to share this with you all, and you can try it at your own risk. And like I say, when you tighten the truss rod, it's going to bring the strings down in the center of the neck. They're still going to be high back at the body. It'll bring them closer in the center of the neck. Then set your nut action or whatever you want up there. If you set your nut action really low, you might have to loosen your truss rod a little bit to bring the strings back up. But normally you would never set your string action height with the truss rod. Normally you would never do that. I'm just saying, if you got a guitar laying in the back room and you cannot play it, you can do this, save $500 or $600 and play that guitar. I mean, I've done it. I hate to say I haven't done it in a long time, but I have done it before. And I thought about it and thought, you know, I'll share this with you guys, because probably somebody that watches the channel has got a guitar like that, and it's just unplayable, you know, for whatever reason. It probably, you know, the neck is off angle or whatever reason, man. Maybe they sanded the saddle down as low as it'll go, and the action's still too high, and it's just uncomfortable. You don't play it because it's so hard to play. Well, you can do this, and you can make it play super easy, man. Up at the nut, cowboy chords, down to about the 5th fret. From the 5th fret on up the neck, the strings will leave the fretboard very fast. The distance between the strings and the fretboard will get wider very quickly back to the end of the fretboard. Anyways, there you go. Cheers to you. I hope it helps you. Be very careful if you try it. I don't recommend it. I just had the idea, and I remember doing it a few times myself. And I thought, I want to make a big video because somebody out there probably got a guitar that they would like to play and can't do it. Well, now you can. You can at least do this and play cowboy chords on it, but be careful. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps. See you next time. Folks, have y'all ever had a string to break when you're on stage right in the middle of a show and it... Damn it, Earl. Get out, man.